Hello, Free Enterprise fans and curious rando heads. Welcome, everybody, to the Gauntlet. I'm the Jet Set Man of Felt Muppets in Space, and here with me is the dancing bird of FF4 who always needs more cowbell, Christopher Warkin. What's going on, Christopher?
I'm doing wonderful. Work to everyone out there in Free Enterprise land. How's everyone doing tonight?
Well, we got a heck of a matchup right here. It's fcoughlin and Bahamut X.
Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend, good old Fred Coughlin here. So, versus Bahamut X. This one's definitely going to be either really, really painful or really, really fast.
Yeah, and we got a couple of Edwards, some spoon words that we're staring at right here. Let's take a look here. Mr. Coughlin is 1-1, and Bahamut X is 1-1. What are we expecting to see as far as play style out here, Christopher?
Well, when you're starting with at least when I start with an Edward, big thing I'm looking for is either a real strong bow or a dancing dagger. That's what's going to make sure that Edward is going to be able to do some damage early on. It also depends on who his mystery partner is going to be.
That's right. There's always that mystery partner, and then once you see the mystery partner, you get the mystery item. And once you see the mystery item, you get the mystery conditions. 5 random conditions to win crystal.
Yeah,
I cannot wait to see what these are going to be.
Yeah, and those mystery conditions can be anything from kill Dark Knight Cecil to defeat the the vanilla crystal altar spot to find Fusoya, anything and everything in between. So it's literally anything you can think of to do in this game that's able to be done. It's a possibility for it to be conditioned to get that crystal and go kill Z-Man.
Yeah, that's right. And with this kind of a start, you're going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel for all of those backdoor things. Your crossbows, your maybe assassin daggers, anything that you can possibly use on the little end of the sides. To really get yourself up there and find perhaps a decent character that can get you the rest of the way there, and finally end Z-Man.
Yeah, the other thing that I expect them to use real early, especially depending on who their partner is going to be things like Thor Rages, Boreases, items that allow you to cast spells. And speaking of which, we're off, and we got a Quack Kid.
We got a Quack Kid, we got a Spoony Bard, and we've got a Darkness Crystal.
Ooh, that is a free character straight out of the gate. I expect at least one of these two to head straight for Mysidia, activate that Lunar Whale, and go get their free character and go straight from 2 to 3 in less than about 2.5 minutes.
It's a pretty good start right there, especially when you got 2 very low hit point characters. Takes what route here?
But first, what are we doing this seed?
Yeah, let's get some objectives.
Giant. Fred just tore through it. Grab Fu, Magma Key, and launch the Falcon. So we're hook route is a mandatory, and Fred, just like I said, he's headed straight from Mysidia, and so is Bahamut. They're both pulling. It's like I can predict the future.
Yeah, this is one of those seeds where you're. I mean, if you got a free character, you got to take it because you have very little damage output until you start getting levels on the Quack Kid right there.
Yeah. I mean, I knew one of them would do this. I'm kind of a little surprised both of them would have. I expected one of them to maybe do the loot route, go through Baron, go through Mist Village, go through Damsian, pick up their loot before they hit up Mysidia. Mm-hmm. But this is definitely a valid and completely expected play.
Yeah, and to me, I think that if this isn't the fastest play, it's definitely the safest play. Because, I mean, even having 3 weak characters, it gives you at least a little bit more as far as a spread of targets so that you can't just get ripped immediately from a nasty boss encounter early on.
Yeah, three is greater than 2 no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if one, especially Edward, if he gets one shot, you're not sitting there banking everything on Palin.
Yeah, Mr. Coughlin is shopping right now, and whoa!
Hourglass 2s. Oh, that's good to find early. Good for those dark imps, good for those magic guards, good for the officer fight, especially if you find those early on.
Yeah, he's a little bit poor for those, but those are going to be really, really handy for grinding, especially when you've got the moon wide open for you. And
there's Kane. So now that's really going to beef everything up. So yeah, all we need is to get him some solid weapon and armor.
Interesting to really, really good in a heartbeat.
I don't know if I'd call it really, really good, but it definitely shows promise.
Well, you have a lot more options available to you with Kane. Kane can equip axes, he can equip swords, he can equip spears, he can even equip daggers. And so you having all of that at your disposal broadens the range of strategies that you can use against a variety of bosses.
And to me, it's not so much the weapons that he can equip, it's the heavy armor that he can equip, which makes him so much more... even though he can jump and avoid a lot of mechanics of bosses, just being able to equip the heavy armor and just tank those hits is going to be a massive boon at this stage of the game.
Yeah, even diamond armor, when you're talking early to mid-game bosses, is definitely worth when it comes to damage prevention here. And we see Fred going straight down. He's going to the poor ruined kingdom of Damsian, and is going to go loot the underground, while Bahamut X tends to a little shopping.
Yeah, shopping with no money. Shopkeepers tend not to like that, but he did find life potions in Mysidia, so at least he knows where those are and can come back and get those later on. Speaking of diamond armor, it's in the basement of Damsian.
Hey.
So that's going to make Kane nice and tanky and beefy for a while. Let's see what we got at the Baron Inn here.
Yeah, the diamond armor is going to help him a lot, especially all the way through to Mount Ordeal's level bosses, if Mr. Coughlin decides to go for that. We got Bahamut X going over into the more traditional opening game route from all the way back when. Looting the town of Baron, foregoes the stream, the 2 pots in the stream. People are...
Oh, and there's a rune axe. That just made Kane very happy and very, very dangerous.
The rune axe is great, and also crystal armor for selling. Money is at a premium here.
Yeah, money is always at a premium early on. Yang was in the Baron Inn, so not my personal favorite, but early on you take what you can get.
And we've got Bahamut X doing a little bit more shopping, actually shopping in the armor shop in the village of Mist, looting a couple of the hidden treasures there and getting the heck out of there.
Yep, now it's Kaipo's turn to be looted, and there's a crystal helm, and he's gonna check who's got the sand. Oh, and it's a Sid with the sand fever. Most likely not gonna see him be cured of that fever.
Yeah, unless they're really, really dying for an agility anchor, which I can't particularly see happening. Oh, Bahamut gets trapped.
NPC percentage. Oh, that old crone. She's horrible. I hate her.
Grandma 1, Bahamut 0. Sorry about that, buddy. So Fred's just looked at Troya and is now going to go to the Antlion Cave for a fairly traditional first play here. Makes a lot of sense. You don't have a whole lot of pop just yet, even with the rune axe at your disposal right there. Oh, he doesn't have it.
No, he doesn't. He never went and looted Oh, where was it? I can't remember. It doesn't matter because he doesn't have it. I'm honestly kind of surprised he didn't hit up Mount Hobbs first. I mean, me personally, that's what I always do: is hit up Hobbs first, and then the Antlion Caves just to get that character a little extra experience. But this is a completely valid play. Nothing wrong with it in the slightest.
Well, and also he's got a Blizzard Spear, he's got a bandana, he's got a Strength Ring. There is a bunch at his disposal right there, and it's gonna make it just nabs up a Bacchus wine too. Oh
yeah. Well, at least we know where Wyvern is. That's the good news.
Yeah. Well, Bahamut actually has some very valuable information there. Finds Wyvern in the Octomammoth spot. And that's a very harmless place for Wyvern. Don't really have to deal with that a whole lot. Unless you're trying to get maybe 3 spells and 100 hit points for Fu. But other than that, there's not really any reason to do that spot, especially because there is no incentive as far as your objectives goes. It's just going to nab up a little bit of loot, including a coffin, and head on down. And who do we get in the boss spot?
It's an Ogopogo, so not your favorite to see, but it could be worse. In this spot, he's really not going to do a whole lot of damage, and the big waves aren't going to do. I mean, percentage-wise, they're going to do the same amount, but total number, they're not going to do much. Yeah,
seeing the Nope Noodle right here is actually quite nice. 717 from Kane is really going to seal the deal, and all of those physical attacks are going to do about 1 or 2 damage, depending. So you really don't have to concern yourself with a whole lot. And Ogopogo's script, he opens up with a double big wave, but the next big wave that he uses is only 1. So that is a maximum of 75% damage that you're going to have to see there. And Dunzo.
And the Alaskan Nope Noodle holding a package. So now are
Alaskan?
Yeah, that's where Ogopogo comes from. It's an Alaskan Native American myth, like the Alaskan Native American version of the Loch Ness Monster.
I didn't know that.
I got bored at work one day and did a little research.
That's great. That's great. I love that bit of trivia right there. That's wonderful. Canadian, Alaskan, they're in the same region, right?
Yeah,
the more you know.
Dun, dun, dun.
So we got Bahamut X going down into the Antlion spot as Mr. Coughlin traverses the shops in front of him and is going to sell out for a dwarf axe. Give himself a little back row glitch on Kane. Bloop, 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 bloop. And there it is. And now Kane will forever do equal damage in the back row. And he's... What? He's doing it.
I'm kind of surprised. He was probably hoping for a decent character, and he's getting Dark Knight Cecil out of it, which this early in the game, not a huge thing. I think they picked up a black sword along the way. I'm not 100% sure on that, but grabbing Dark Knight Cecil before Mount Ordeals, not a bad play. And then he could also be Odin hunting.
That's true. That's true. This could be a boss hunt right here. There's only the one boss that you have to fight in Odin, but could get lucky and nab something up. Also, Dark Knight Cecil has one of the best abilities in the entire game, which is to become not Dark Knight Cecil, to become the Paladin Cecil. And Paladin Cecil is a hoss. Ladies and gentlemen, he can crank out that damage against Zeromus. And so late game, you're looking at Mr. Coughlin having a bit of a damage advantage, assuming Bahamut does not find another Cecil.
Yeah, and then especially, the hook is guaranteed this seed because of the conditions that are required. If we pick up a pink tail, that could very easily lead to an X-Cal or a crystal sword.
Yeah, the Crystal Sword Cecil, that's it right there. That's GG's if you pick that up.
Yeah, that's a recipe for making monster meatballs.
Mm-hmm. Making Zeromus Zupa. And Bahamut is taking a look at the objectives and trying to figure out what to do next. takes the hovercraft all the way back to the airship, as per classic strats.
Yep, Fred finding the Maga sisters, and this isn't a bad spot for them either. Early on, they can be kind of a pain in the rear.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing that a more consequential boss was not found there, but you know, it's a pretty outlier play, so you're probably not going to see much of what you're looking for here. But that Dark Knight Cecil could actually turn the tides late game. So we'll see how that play plays out in the next hour of this seed.
Yeah, Bahamut X finding Noodle Light in Leviathan at Mist Dragon spot. So, I mean that's to me that's one of those bosses I kind of hope is later on down the line, because really all he does is cast that big wave once and then hit you with ice 2. And if you find him late enough, you're gonna have the defense. You're gonna have the magic defense for ice 2, so you can really just lay into him and wail on him.
And Fred gets nabbed by the Kaipo maid.
Old Crone 2 runners Zippo.
Kaipo Grandma gets 2 wins today, and it is a bloodbath in Kaipo, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and honestly, killing some of these low-level early bosses really isn't a bad strategy, because we're required to find Fu, and Fu gets stronger the more bosses you kill. So it's really not a bad strategy.
Yeah, with this strategy, you're kind of playing for the hopes that you're going to get your Fu earlier rather than later. Once you dive down into the underground, you're going to be pretty close to at the maximum amount of bosses required, if not there already. So you're hoping for a Fu somewhere in, say, Upper Babel, something like that.
Well, yeah, or sooner, you know,
or here maybe.
Or Tella and Golbez, and Fred nopes the heck out. I do not blame him. Get me the heck out.
But
however,
Bahamut is actually gonna take the fight.
Nope, he noped out.
I was wondering what was going on.
He just took a little longer to find his out button. Maybe he forgot where he put it. I don't know. or he's trying to agility minute it. I'm confused.
Maybe.
I'm confused. Oh, I see what he's doing. I know what he's doing here. Okay.
He's doing an early grind fight with some. Oh no, he's killing off a character.
Yeah, he's killing off a character so he can control who as much as possible who gets killed by the shadow dragon of Golbez.
Yeah, that's an interesting play, because the want for Tella in this position is interesting. That means that you're going to do ordeals, and you're playing for having a full spell stack from your Tella right there.
Yeah, but if he's doing this and he's committing to this, why didn't he grab Dark Knight Cecil out of Mist Village and double his pleasure, double his fun on Malware deals?
Well, this play might actually be a play that is looking for damage, but the other play was just kind of hoping for a better character here. And realistically speaking, you're not going to have a bad time with Tella early on. He's got exit learned right out of the gun, so you can actually get some value out of your Tella immediately. And then once he learns all of those spells, you have access to weak, you have access to stone, you have access to all of the level 3 elemental spells, and you have access to virus. And if you find a cheeky Soma drop
you've got access to Medio, yeah.
Exactly.
But to me, fighting Golbez, not worth. But that's my opinion. Obviously, Bahamut thinks it's worth it.
And Mr. Coughlin does the Fabul Gauntlet spot and is rewarded with a white lance, which is pretty good for that character that he picked up there. That Kane.
The only way it gets better is if he finds an Avenger.
Mm-hmm. He's going for that Tella life. Yeah, this play from Bahamut X is very interesting, and we're seeing now a couple of small divergences right here with character setup. One with a Cecil, one with a Tella, and we'll see how this goes. And we get into Silveria, which is one of my favorite places to loot because you got the three pots right there, bing bang boom, and then you've got all of the shops right there in one little cluster. It's a very, very quick check. And maybe you run into a rune ring, maybe you run into a wizard robe, maybe you run into
Well, Fred just solved the Tella issue, and he found exits for sale. And I mean, and if
Fred doesn't have Tella,
that's why I said he solved the Tella problem.
You got yourself some Soma drops right there. You only need one. And what's Fred gonna buy right here? Exits. Definitely thinking about a few more Star Veils. Goes with 3 exits and 5 Star Veils, and he's out.
Looked more like 15 Star Veils to me, but then
15?
again, I'm blind.
Oh.
That's what it looked like to me, but then again, I'm blind, so I could be very, very wrong.
So we got our Tella, and we're out.
Fred is heading up the mountain, so time to see. Number 1, is Odin here? And number 2, we're gonna get. Did Fred ever grab that rune axe? I never saw if he did.
I don't believe that Fred has ever traversed Baron as of yet in this siege, so I don't think he has the rune axe. But having a Cecil at your disposal is worth its weight in experience right off the bat.
Yeah.
He's gonna find at least something that's serviceable as far as a weapon for him. So this is more of a faith play than anything.
Yeah, and when you've got a Cecil, ordeals is just do it.
Also, if you're hunting for a boss, you got 3 shots at it right here. The first shot comes up a little short with a Calbrena.
Yeah, well, at least we get to murder some evil dolls. So, I mean, it's a good consolation prize.
So you see him dealing damage to those cowls in the back. Fun fact about the cowls, they do not have the boss bit.
No,
there's nothing nothing in the inventory that you can capitalize that with. But Mr. Coughlin's got to be careful here because I don't think an AoE Fire 2 is actually going to take care of him. At least not in the back.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, it barely took care of the Brennas.
And Thor rages. It's not quite gonna get you there. Oh no! No! And we see the big doll. It was one shot away, not having to see big doll. But it's okay because in this spot, big doll's only got what 2,800 hit points or something like that.
To be honest with you, I am not up to date on my hit point totals in most spots. That's something that some of the other ones are going to be some of the other commentators are going to be a little bit more knowledgeable than me on. But yeah, either way, couple of quick seconds and it's done and over with. Meanwhile, Bahamut is fighting the evil wall. That's gonna be
in the Fabul spot.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because it was a moon boss at Barrett Inn, so I'm sitting there going, the background ain't right.
And we've got a semi-free boss right here for the back attack spot. Officer 3 soldier fight.
Now, if he wants to load up on extra experience, if he has any hourglasses floating around, he can hourglass all of them and just wail away on the soldiers, life glitch them, and then.
I don't think he picked up any hourglasses. It doesn't really seem like Mr. Coughlin is particularly interested in doing that. This looks like I want to end it in one round or maybe a round and a half.
Yeah. But the option is going to be available for Bahamut when he gets there.
JK, yes. Yeah, he already fought the wall in the same spot and was rewarded with the white lance. And there's the retreat. That takes care of the boss. Now, having fought Big Doll, you actually don't suffer the split experience in your spot there. So he got full experience from that fight, but in this particular fight against the officer and soldiers, he only got partial experience for just defeating the soldiers.
Yep.
I remember playing this game as a kid and just trying desperately to kill that officer because I wanted so much experience for my Cecil.
Mm-hmm.
And
then he turns into a paladin and becomes a paladin again.
And you realize, oh, it doesn't matter.
Yep. So Fred Coughlin finds the twin harp, and we have no way underground yet. Are we getting music?
Well, we do have the Baron Guard spot left to explore, and we have the entirety of the moon to explore. So it really is anyone's guess where Mr. Coughlin's going to go to. I would probably end up doing the Baron Guard spot first, just to see if there's a quick way to take care of whatever's behind that.
And that makes sense. I would most likely do the same thing in Fred's position before I go hopefully playing some music for the people here.
And Bama just found the Soma drops, as well as star veils and exits, and is thinking hard. Ends up picking up 6 of those star veils and piecing out.
I think he was trying to figure out how to afford everything he wants, and then the pot, the
juicy
coin purse just wasn't big enough.
Yeah. He got the 1 Soma drop out of there, though. And
for Tella, that's all you really need. I mean, I might have picked up. You might pick up a second one later on down the line for Fu, so you can quad nuke with him. But other than that, you don't really need a whole lot more in the Soma drop department.
That's right. It's all about the quad nuke with Fu, getting up from 190 to 200, and then if you want to sit there for about a minute and a half and watch Tella chant, you can cast Meteor with him.
Now, if only Telenough were good enough to cast Quack.
It's the only. It's like what, Quake and Nuke are the only spells that he actually doesn't have access to.
I think so. There might be one or two other. I don't think he gets Fatal.
I'm pretty sure he thought he did get Fatal. No, I don't think he does have Fatal. I think it's just Stone.
Yeah, he only gets Stone. It's Fatal, Quake, and Nuke that he doesn't get.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason he gets Meteo is story reasons.
Yay, story reasons. And we break those story reasons all the time.
Story? What's a story? Who needs a story? We just want to kill stuff.
Yeah, who needs a story? We play an open world rando. What did Fred just look at right over there?
I don't know. I missed it.
Huh. Well, that's an okay spot for Plague.
Yeah. It doesn't have a whole lot of hit points. It's just a reaction when you see Plague. You cringe and go, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, it's a pretty good spot for Plague. You don't really have to deal with a whole lot there. It's 450 hit points or something like that, which one swing from a lance and well then.
We have a Mist Dragon.
Mr. Dragon.
Oh, and he scored a Bahamut off the Grimoire. Oh, you can't ask for anything better and one-shots it.
Yeah,
that's nice. Pretty. That's just nice. Pretty.
That's a good pull from the Grimoire, and kind of ironically, gets some cookware with his Yang. So we have no way to get into underground, so it's not like the pan's really going to do a whole lot. But having a Yang this early is actually helpful because you can start stacking up experience on him and actually make him useful. Somewhere around level 23 or 24, he starts getting some pretty decent damage multipliers, and you can really start pumping it out. And that Thunderclaw actually is a very significant piece of gear for him because there are plenty of places that you can use it, and plenty of bosses that are weak to the thunder element. One of the most notable spots that people like to grab some gear at is in Lower Babel with the 4 alert trap chests. You can get some top tier gear from there, and all you have to do is hit him with a power punch with that Thunderclaw, and you can really take care of him in one shot.
And Rydia's mom had it going on the entire time. She's got the hook.
She's got the hook.
So now all we got to do is deal with the hook route. So
you do have some choices here. We know that Hourglass 2s are on the moon. It is not out of the realm of possibility to grind on some hair dryers on the moon and then actually dive the lunar subterrane.
Truth.
But
music!
But Brett's not doing either of those things. He's going right for the music. We're like, do you go underground or do you go moon? And Mr. Coughlin says, neither.
You go for the music. You make the people happy.
And watch this be the galaxy brain strat right here.
Yep. I will fall off my chair laughing when this is the magma key.
It could be the magma key and guarded by Odin, and that would be the old 1-2 punch of a lifetime right there.
Serious face. Ooh, Siren and a mute knife. That'll up the the magic damage potential of Palom. I mean, not versus this boss, unless it happens to be Odin, because the weakness to lightning will overcome the high magic defense here. But other than that, yeah,
Mute Dagger is one of my favorite little side strats to use in this game. I love throwing a Mute Dagger on edge and using it against Ashura or any of the mage type enemies. The Baron Guards, you can do some serious wampum damage on those guys. And I'm going to...
Edward's cheering on the Dark Elf, which I find rather hilarious.
I'm going to mute myself here for a second, and we are going to listen in to what Bedward is playing. I'm afraid I don't know that one.
Neither do I. Let's hope he talks to the harp and gives us the answer. Oh, you hate to see a Val. But at least he's got Kane to jump, so that's the good news.
Yeah, this is a dreadful spot for Valvolus, too. But having Kane in the party makes this a little bit more viable. You have some good physical damage with Cecil and Yang. It's not great. It could take a bit, and is definitely looking for an answer. Oh wow! Yeah, that's right. Kane has a white lance.
Yeah. So Kane is going to be the MVP of this fight.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
The MVP of the seed.
Seriously.
Yeah. He's looking pretty good.
Now, if memory serves, this spot has about 7,000 HP, and he's already ripped through about 2,000 of it.
Yeah. I think it's somewhere in the vein of 6 or 7 thou. But all she's really gonna do is throw out weeks and rays until she comes out of that tornado form right there. Not gonna see a whole lot of danger from her. Oh yeah, and since everyone's in critical status, you're gonna have some guard strats with our Cecil right there.
Why heal everybody when you can just heal Cecil?
Yeah, that's some vanilla speedrun strategies right there.
Oh, and Val dies right after Palom gets turned to stone, so the Quack Kid gets delayed just a little bit. Meanwhile, Bahamut X is flying around looking for something to do.
And Bahamut X is pretty uncertain, it seems, what his next move is. Galaxy Brain strats, not so much this time around for Mr. Coughlin, who has netted a small bundle of Artemis arrows, but definitely talks to the harp.
And we find out it's Fairy Battle from Final Fantasy IX. And
what is
Fred doing?
He's dancing. He's dancing. So if you're in Mr. Coughlin's shoes right now, you got to think that you just wasted a decent chunk of time doing that, and that Bahamut is probably, if not hot on your trail, a little bit ahead at this juncture. But right now, we know that Bahamut actually is a little bit aimless at this point right now, trying to look for something to bolster his party. Doesn't really have what seems to be a plan as of yet. I'm curious to know where Bahamut's going to go next.
Yeah, the Bahamut just seems like he's running around aimlessly. It's like he's thinking, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And he's going for what he can do, or first thing that comes to mind. Fred's setting up. Yeah, Fred's setting up to do.
Okay.
It's like he knows.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wait, what?
He's doing encounter manipulation strats right here. He's checking to see what encounter seed he is on, and then doing the requisite number of steps in order to set up a D machine grind in the whale.
This is some big Galaxy Brain play. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, well, he's offing some characters because he's going to hit up Tella.
Has Fred? Oh, that's right. Fred did check, so
Yep.
he knows that it's Golbez and Tella. So okay, it makes a lot more sense at this point.
Yeah, bye-bye, Spoonword. Hello, Tella. Oh, doesn't quite get the jump swag. Oh, almost got a second shot at it. Over in Bahamut's stream, Bahamut has finally gone to the Baron. Finally gone to the Baron infight and used Meteo on D-Mist. Fun fact about Meteo, it's Holy Elemental, and D-Mist absorbs Holy Element.
Just writing down some questions to ask Fred, because I have what I like to call Dory brain. So if I don't write stuff down, I forget it in like 3 seconds flat.
I actually I tend to write down questions as well, because There's just so much that happens in each of these seeds, and the play happens at such a high pace.
Especially when there's massive divergence like there is now. Why, Golbez? Because you're a jerk face. That's why.
Yeah, that's why. That's why. And he's gone. He gone.
Thanks to crystals for that.
So Bahamut is throwing out some viruses, seeing if he can take down this D-Mist a little bit quicker here. Virus is a good spell to use because it's high power, just a little bit above level 2 elemental damage. But what's really notable about the virus spell is that it has a nigh on to instantaneous cast rate. So when you select it in menu, there's like maybe one ATB tick, and then boom, it goes off.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Quake and Nuke, they're super fast casts.
Mm-hmm. And Bahamut gets the pan. Bahamut gets the fist mage. And now the question is, what next? The pan doesn't really afford him any semblance of a direction. I wonder if we're going to actually see what on earth is happening in Fred's stream right now.
I don't know. I looked away for like a split second.
Just casually getting mega nuked over in the Octoman spot.
It's just a casual mega nuke. Nobody cares.
What's a mega nuke between friends, really? See Bahamut go and pick up the reward for the D-Mist spot.
Now and he gets his hook. So at this point, it becomes a race to who's going where and who's doing it first. Because now we're just milling about the overworld. But really, the next person, whoever's going to take the lead, is going to make a decision whether or not they're going underground or whether or not they're going to the moon, and who does it first.
Both of those plays are actually very, very viable, especially with the parties that they've got in the setup right now. It looks like Bahamut is actually going to do the hook route immediately. Got the setup right there with the hovercraft, and he's gonna hook his way into Upper Babel and see if maybe that there's a boss that he can take care of down there.
Yeah, and more importantly, is Fu hiding out in the cave? The Cave of Wonders.
Picks up a cheeky Hourglass 2 in that, so not so shabby right there. An Hourglass 2 will serve him very well for the 4 Mad Ogre fight. He's got a stack of life potions, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, he's got plenty of life potions.
And Bacchus wines for sale. Bacchus wines. Does anyone like wine?
I'm not a fan of wine, but I do like getting drunk.
I am actually the opposite. I am a big fan of wine, and the Bacchanals made some of the best wine. I'm a fan of getting zerked.
Just in case, here's your weekly here's your daily plug for a nice refreshing burst.
There it is. Can't stay away. And what are we gonna get? 1, 2, 3. Just goes ahead and gets single Bacchuses until is out of money. Not really willing to sell out for more Bacchuses at this point, but at least he knows where they are, and so it's going to be a pretty easy proposition to go stock up when it's time to go fight the big man himself.
Yeah, and realistically, when done correctly, you're not going to need more than probably 3 or 4 Bacchus wines. Maybe enough just in case you suffer a black hole and those get knocked out to blah 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 to reapply. But realistically, for Z-Man, you don't need a whole lot.
Yeah, you need about like 4 or 5, if.
Exactly.
And it looks like we are neck and neck after all of that divergence, after the different choices that were made in picking up characters. We have 2 runners exactly side by side right now, doing the same trap chest fight.
high-fiving the sailman. I don't know. I feel kind of old.
Looks like the Stalemen are high-fiving them in the face. Doesn't look too great over in Bahamut X's stream.
Yeah, Fred's gonna have an easier time of it. He did go ahead and blow his hourglass 2 on these guys, so they're just gonna sit there and they're gonna take it in the face.
I'm a little worried about Bahamut X right now. This is a tough moment. It's a pretty tough moment.
These Stalemen do not mess around, and
they're too late. Oh, when was the last time Bahamut saved?
Just right outside the cage.
Okay.
Not that bad. Maybe a minute or two. He's gonna have to reshop, but not that bad. Could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, that I was in full clench mode at that death.
Yeah. and we have a small girl.
And Iridia.
Yep, we have a small girl, and we're either either a very vanilla boss. Actually, no, that's going to be vanilla Rubicon.
It could be vanilla Rubicon. It could also be the 4 Fiends spot.
If it's the 4 Fiends, wouldn't it be the Mylon Z Sprite?
Would it? I thought Rubicon was the one who was kind of their spokesman.
True. I don't know. My brain is turning off, so I'm just kind of talking at the mouth right now.
Yeah. Gets right into that 4 Mad Ogre fight, right in the first chest. Pretty good. And doesn't have an hourglass to burn, so is not really yeah, there it is. Size strats. 4 Mad Ogres going to 4 Mad Ogrelets.
I was not aware this worked. Yeah, today absolutely. I learned.
You can stop them, you can shrink them, you can poison them, you can inflict sap on them, you can do dang near everything to the Mad Ogres. They're susceptible to pretty much the entire gambit of status ailments, and right here we're seeing Mr. Coughlin show that off in spades. And when an enemy gets tinied, I believe their defense drops to a big whopping goose egg. Honk.
Honk. Bahamut noping out. Is he gonna head up? Is he gonna head up to the moon?
Oh, I actually really hope he does. I hope we have a complete divergence in path right here.
Yeah, he is. Oh, Bahamut's going for the moon.
And this is Muppets clapping. I love what I'm seeing right now. No,
he's going straight for the giant. Oh, he's on a character hunt. He's hunting for Foo.
I also think that Bahamut might have D-Machine on the brain.
Also, yeah, that could explain that. That explains why he was so adamant on getting Tella.
Mm-hmm. You got Tella for weak. I believe I saw a couple of Ether 2s in his inventory. Maybe an Ether 1 and an Ether 2.
So it's not going to be a big D-Machine grind, but it's going to be a helpful one.
Well, it's got to be enough of a D-Machine grind in order to get him through the bosses, because you have to complete the Giant of Babel. That is objective number 2. So this is actually required. This is a mandatory thing that Bahamut is doing. This isn't just about grinding. This is actually about getting the crystal. Now this is exciting right here, because Fred's going into Upper Babel right now, into the King Queen Eblon spot, finds a purple hooded figure,
finds Mylon Z. So I mean, not a bad spot for Mylon Z. He's gonna hit a little hard. So you got to be a little worried about that. But otherwise, we're just gonna smack face.
Well, Mylon Z is also gonna smack face.
This is true.
The poison shot typically doesn't do a whole lot, but it's the natural shots that can really take you down a peg. And this spot,
like from all the way down to 0 peg.
Yeah, pretty much. And this spot typically can hit pretty hard too. You don't necessarily see it in the vanilla game because all King Queen Ablon does is fire 1 and fire 2. But
hello with fire 3 on a Mylon Z, and he goes boom.
Yep, it is time to see what there is behind this Rubicent sprite. Oh, nope. But he's going to take a quick save first because confidence mediocre on this one. And I understand the reticence to do this without saving. If it is Rubicent, like the vanilla spot for Rubicent right there still kind of sucks. Glare can still really wreck you. And also that double up attack that Rubicent can do. It really would be less than optimal to handle this, especially at the low levels that he's at right now.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's the element fight, so you were right. So this actually plays into Fred's favor magnificently.
Yeah, you got the white lance, so you can switch over to the second phase of this fight pretty rapidly. Oh. Or not. I see. Mr. Coughlin is taking absolutely no chances here. Does not want to see Rubicent come out. The AoE Fire 2, Fire 3 glares being just a little too much more than he can handle. So he's going to reflect some Fire 2s onto Mr. Mylon Z's part.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Well, it was a nice thought.
He tried. And there's a big fat heal.
Well, does the heal trigger even on a reflect? Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah, no, it heals. Well, no, it heals Rubicent.
Yeah, that. Well, this is why you save, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, AoE glare. That's painful. That's painful.
Yeah, I'm in full clench mode right now. There's the reset.
There's the reset. He goofed. He knows it. He's like, it's better off to just reset and try again rather than trying to clutch it out.
So Bahamut X thought that he found his Huckleberry there. Ended up finding an Alert and Horseman fight right there. Didn't quite get the D machine that he was looking for. He's set up for it though. And this will probably be the D machine. Oh, nope.
There's a lot of argument that I've seen floating around where either Mac Giants or Horseman is actually preferable to the D machine, especially at lower levels, because they're so much less dangerous.
Well, if you have illusions, you can make the Mac Giants kind of null and void. If you've got Thunder Claws, I believe they're weak to Thunder. You can really take them down in a heartbeat. I've never done the Mac Giant grind, but there are a lot of people that swear by it, say it's safer. You get a little bit less experience per kill on it, but you can still stack it up. Instead of like 23 kills, you're looking at more like 30 to get to around the same amount. I believe it's 23 kills in the vanilla speed run for No 64. And right over here in Mr. Coughlin's stream, we've got take 2. Looks like it's going with that reflect strategy. It's going to do him well. 5,255 damage on that. Very, very nice power.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt, with the fire weakness. So, and there's the kill, much easier. I mean, it's not like you're getting experience off of this spot anyway. So there it goes. Bahamut X has found his D machine. So now he's just got to make sure that he lives.
Now, D Machine has an interesting script. D Machine, every time its turn comes up naturally, it every time its turn comes up naturally, it uses fire. Fire is an area of effect. Fire, but percentage-based attack, does 25% of your health and damage, your maximum health and damage. If you hit D Machine and it doesn't kill D Machine, D Machine is programmed to counter with a really nasty physical attack. So you want to make dang sure that you got all your ducks in a row before you actually go after this Machina Dragon. And Mr. Coughlin peeked at the Luge spot in the top of the tower, finding Ashura there. Not the freest place for Ashura, as the physical damage in that spot is pretty high. Yeah,
I mean, it could be worse, but it could definitely be so much better.
And that is our first objective complete, by the way, for Mr. Coughlin. 53 minutes into this seed, we have completed our first objective of launching the Falcon. This seed has been really rough on our runners, but now that the underground is open to Fred, we can see that the pan is going to be put to immediate use right here. You get 3 items out of this bad boy. Whack him in the head and you get the item from the Sylph, and then you go turn it in to Sheila for the old 1-2 punch of I talked to him and I hit him, and you get 2 key items out of that too.
Pass is being handed up by the Sylphs, so I mean, could be good. Depends on where Odin is. If Odin's on the moon, not so much. If we find Odin underground, that could be massive.
It could be massive, but it is shaping up to be a Scala Kitty special for this seed right here. And I can hear her maniacal cackling laugh in the background. There it is. Yes.
There it is. There it is.
Right on cue. Oh, they can't hear it.
I hear voices in my head. They laugh at me. They understand. They laugh at me.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Bahamut is in dire straits right here. Needs to get that cure off.
Oh, God. Oh, that was close. That was a clencher.
So here's the problem with what's going on right now. 25 damage is what fire does every single time, and when you are revived by that's heartbreaking. When you're revived by a life potion, it revives you at, I believe, 4 times your vitality or something like that, which is almost never going to be 1/4 of your health.
Especially not when you're old and frail and senile.
Yeah.
So
that's really, really rough. That's a really, really rough
to
rip.
immediately die. So the next question is Fred, in my opinion, Fred's obviously in the lead. But we're in for the long haul, folks. I hope you guys took your bio breaks, grabbed your beverages. We're gonna be at this one a while.
Well, no, I am going to point out that we actually don't know who's in the lead until somebody defeats Odin. We have access to dang near everything else that we need, because whatever character slot we need to unlock to get Fu is going to be on Earth. We have the Giant of Babel available to both runners. Right now, Bahamut X is in the Giant. We have the Magma Key, which, I mean, it could be on the moon. Could be on the moon. It could be down here on the Earth. Launching the Falcon is definitely down here on the Earth. But if Odin is on the moon, then that is a required moon play. And that will open this seed wide up. And it'll actually give both runners a bit of a cushion against each other. You might actually see them both regress to relatively even by the time the 5th objective is actually completed, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, and Kung Fu Man, he laid the smacketh down on Fred Coughlin.
Yeah,
that was a beatdown of epic proportions.
Yang punch hard, Yang punch often, Yang kick face. Going with a little bit of a different setup here. Let's see what he can do. This is going to be probably a double kick and then one swing from Cecil to activate the vanilla script for the ouch defeat.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got to be going for the ouch.
Oh, well, he got the ouch all right to the tune of quad-digit damage.
Yeah, except it was Cecil saying ouch, not Yang saying ouch. Fred not happy on this one. He's got to figure out a way to get to get Cecil some defense.
So Bahamut X is back at the D machine grind. Let's hope this goes a little bit better for him. This is one where personally, being a less experienced person at this grind, even though I practiced it several times years ago when this first came out, I was still very inexperienced. I prefer to be very safe with this grind. Take care of the D machine and then spend your time healing. Get yourself ready, summon the next one, go after it again. It's a little bit slower, yes. But what's even slower than that is having to restart in the middle of the fight.
Yep, but Fred Coughlin does get the Karate Man to say ouch, and he gets a pink tail for his efforts. So now the next question is what are we going to get for that pink tail? Are we going to get an Avenger?
Spicy item. Very spicy item when you got Cecil in your party.
Yeah, that's habanero level spicy. So
that's right. That's ghost pepper.
Yeah, I just hope he's got a glass of milk handy, waiting to get it to calm it down a little bit.
Yeah, shaking his fist at people, going, "Which way's Goshen?" So he's gonna go back down and hit up the Ashura spot.
And with it being Bahamut, I honestly just kind of expect him to wail at him a few times and wall up.
Yeah, I don't even necessarily think that the whale is coming. I think that it's just going to be Star Veil up. Waited a few ticks too long, I think, though.
Yeah, me thinks he should. If he was going to go for this strat, he should have done it just a touch faster.
Yeah, he's going to lose out on a Star Veil right there. It's Yang tried to put one up and ended up just putting up 10k damage. Now, this is happening pretty fast, so I don't necessarily think that this is going to be a danger zone spot for Mr. Coughlin. I think those Star Veils are still going to be up by the time the next one rolls around.
Which is right about now. So we'll find out. Yep, and walls are still up. Yep. Bahamut mega nukes himself into oblivion. Hello, free experience.
20,000 experience, couple of levels for everyone still alive, and the key item is
adamant. So we're one item away from a guaranteed Excalibur and a very pretty shop.
I didn't know the text for that changed.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's great.
That's
Oh,
great.
yeah,
I
it's
love
beautiful.
I love a good
It's
Dr.
beautiful.
Claw reference. Who doesn't love a good Dr. Claw reference?
I'll get you next time, Cecil. Next time.
Hey, I know my cues. I was an actor once. So we found sirens in Tamra, which is a pretty spicy get too. It opens up Mr. Coughlin's grinding strategy options a little bit more. You could do the gold dragon grind on the moon if you have to go to the moon. You could just grind on eggs down here on Earth if you don't have to go anywhere. You also can do what Bahamut is doing right now, which is the D-Machine grind, which seems to be a lot more manageable right now.
Yeah, but it's also a lot. It's also a lot more dangerous, and therefore I tend not to be a fan of it unless sirens are just simply not available. Especially when your only source a week is Tella.
Yeah, you got Tella and a stack of Cure 2s, and once those Cure 2s are out, you are that well-known tributary without a means of propulsion.
The fact that it took me a second to decipher that saddens me slightly.
Oh, that was the telltale week on the Searcher. And we get 481,000 experience out of that fight, which isn't exactly Zeromus levels, but you're not looking for Zeromus levels because Bahamut has precisely 0 objectives completed. So probably rest assured that you're going to get some experience, especially because the 4FE spot gives a ton of experience and the CPU spot gives a ton of experience. So it's kind of banking on all of that to really get him over the edge. But this is going to do a world of good for Bahamut to actually complete the Giant of Babel. And it's really good to see him get through that fight.
Yeah, well, and actually mid 40s, depending on party level and such, that's actually Zeromus range. Especially if when he picks, when he turns in the pigtail, assuming he does that, the white spear cane is no slouch on damage. That's, if he's good enough, that's Zeromus level range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fairly spicy. Fairly spicy. It's not the exorbitant amount of experience that I like to get out of that. Speaking of CPU, Mr. Coughlin just found CPU in the Calbrena spot. Has gone down to the Dwarf Castle to see what he can see. And it's not a dangerous fight. It's just an annoying fight, especially in this spot, which has the majority of the hit points in this setup. You only have about 2,500 hit points to deal with from the Golbez spot, but I believe in the Calbrena spot you have somewhere in the vein of 7k to deal with. And even broken up, you'll be able to see exactly how much hit points the CPU unit has, the CPU unit, ATM machine, the CPU has when it gets healed, because it is a factor of 10 by how much the defender recovers it for.
Truth. And honestly, I'm not surprised. I'm kind of surprised that Fred isn't just going for it. Maybe, I don't remember, did he pick up a Soma drop for Tella to go and to just medio quack?
I don't know, but I get why you make the safer play. I do, especially because you want to be healed up for whatever's coming up next. You don't know what's behind CPU, and that's kind of the important part. Medio takes 5 ever to cast. You could probably end up eating about 3 mazers in that time, and then that could weaken you to the point where you could be in Rip City with whatever's behind it.
Yeah, and looking at Tella, he did not pick up a Soma drop. So, that cancels that strat. But the CPU's already dead. There it goes. Yeah, we're good to go. 21,000 experience. This was obviously the better play.
So Bahamut X just had to take a reset out of this 4FE spot fight. I I like the setup
and the
against Pale
dupe
Dim.
is Tella. Oh, the dupe is Tella. Oh no,
That's
no. Wrong old man. Wrong old man. Wrong old man.
Yeah, the only character you have to be able to see all the characters in each seed, but there are just one more spots than there are characters in each seed. So there is one dupe in each seed, and it looks like that dupe is wrong old man. A tale of two Tellas. I love that.
Tale of two Tellas, both of them useless.
So Obama has to kind of muscle through the fight right now. It's going to be just physical damage that's got to get you through. Pale Dim actually absorbs fire, ice, and lit.
Yeah, the elemental magic.
Yeah, and I believe counters.
You can still hit him with Quack. No, well, no, he might counter virus. I know he doesn't counter Quack.
No, counter virus.
Yeah, it's just so he's not going to counter virus. He's not going to counter Quack. But if you summon anything against him, he's going to counter with Quake, which is why Bahamut casts Float on himself, because I suspect a spicy summon coming up against him.
Yeah, it looks like Rydia's got something queued up, but oh no, it's just casting Quake on Pale Dim. Probably thinking that Quake is actually going to be a counter. But Mr. Coughlin got himself a legend sword out of that fight.
And he's going to have that legend sword for all of about 3 seconds, because he's here at Coco Shop, and we are... Ooh, those are pretty! Yeah, those are pretty!
There's some pretty stuff in there. Most notably the Zeus Gauntlet.
If and when he finds Edge, those Murasames aren't going to be anything to slouch at either.
Yeah, if you find Edge really late, it's a hard sell to actually take anyone out of your party in favor for him, especially if you've already ground yourself out to Zeromus levels. You usually don't want to sink more time into doing that. But if he stumbles on Edge at some point later, which I don't really know when that would be, some point earlier, then you could potentially see a swap out for that. But I don't really see Edge being a factor in this seed.
Honestly, neither do I. I mean, really, we've got the two characters at Tower Zot. We've got Baron Castle, and then we've got whatever's here in the Giant of Babel, and I think that's it.
Yeah, Pale Dim still hits hard in that Four Fiends. Takes Yang down. And Tella is out of MP.
Well, it's not like he had much to begin with.
Yeah, he only had 100.
Well, he's got 32 now. Woohoo!
So Rydia's cranking out a Quake. 2,500 damage for that Quake, and Tella takes an 880 shot.
Meanwhile, Fred Coughlin's heading up the lower tower of Babel, and he's gonna go punch Ashura in the face.
Yeah, this is keyless tower play. I don't really see that he would have any other play than to go back to the surface and hit up the moon. So this play does make sense if he's trying to avoid an early moon play.
According to Fred's tracker, he does have the tower key.
Oh, really? Whoops.
Yeah. So this play definitely makes sense. He still has to go talk to Sheila. So he's got 2 more key items there. But we're kind of getting down to the nitty gritty before we have to go hit the moon.
And Maggie, our delightful tracker, informing us the tower key was from the Fey March chest.
See, this is why we have trackers. Trackers tell us commentators the stuff we missed, so we don't look like complete idiots.
Maybe we do. Speaking of which, big shout outs to Maggie the Cat, doing a bang up job on that tracking, and our restreamer tonight, Scala Kitty, who has rolled this delightful piece of trash. And
I don't know.
Bahamut gets through the fight.
Nice. It took him long enough. I was to say this seed is kind of bad. I don't know if it is as bad as some of the practice seeds that I've been rolling lately.
Hey, I love some garbage. Let me tell you. We've got a backtrack right here from Bahamut X, laying down a cabin, going to the CPU fight. CPU's got significantly less hit points than the four fiends spot. However, still worth a king's ransom in experience. So you're going to see those pretty decent levels be more than Zeromus ready. And this might actually prove to be a big deal because he's got the experience edge.
True, but he's, as far as key items and locations are concerned, he is way behind.
Yeah, that's true. And even more so behind now as Conf netted himself a magma key in the top of Lower Babil.
Yeah, so just as Bahamut X is going to be finishing up his first objective, probably right in the neighborhood of the 115 mark, Coughlin will be able to complete. Oh, and we got a Gauntlet.
One of the best additions to the new version of Enterprise, Alt Gauntlet. Instead of having your traditional Fabul Gauntlet, the same enemies over and over again in the Fabul Gauntlet that you've known and come to expect, you get enemies from the zone that you encounter the Gauntlet in. So in this instance, you get your Flame Man Chimera, you get your more Flame Man and Chimera, probably some more Flame Man and Chimera, but you get a lot of what you would normally get from random encounters in the zone, and I think that's a brilliant change.
Oh yeah, it makes it so much more interesting. Funny part is Bahamut over here and Kitty has cast it, is nuking the heck out of Mylon, which I just find to be hilarious. Can't cast fire too, but she can sure nuke your face off.
Yeah, that's right. You don't need fire too. But this spot has a pretty significant punch when it comes to physical damage, which you, again, never see because it's CPU. But Mylon goes down after one of the big nukes. 150,000 experience for that fight. And, I mean, Bahamut does not need any more experience. And if this isn't Fu, Bahamut's in big trouble, but I don't know what else it could be.
There's Fu. 2 birds, 1 stone.
There you go.
So here's the question of the hour. Does he take Fu?
Well, you don't have to take Fu in this instance. And personally, I like having Tella as an agility anchor. I really do. But this ends up being a matter of taste. Let's find out.
Me honestly, that he's doing what I would do, and I ditch Tella and go for reflect strats on Z.
Yeah, definitely taking out one old man for another right there, but that is 2 objectives. Bingo, bango, bongo done right there. Completed the Giant of Babel and Fusoya yet. And it looks like Bahamut is ready for dang near anything at this point. We are an hour and 16 minutes into this, and Fred's got 1 and Bahamut's got 2 of the 5. Over in Fred's stream here,
we've got bean curd problems here.
So here's the fun thing about tofu, slime, pudding, and all that stuff. They are your flan type characters, right? which, if you are familiar with Flans, have a pretty significant amount of magic defense. But they can be toasted by magic that goes through defense or just high yield damage. Some of them are susceptible to some elements than others. But if you're not ready for it, they can get at you. One Quake takes care of them pretty handily, though.
True, and the main problem with Flan type enemies is not only is their magic defense kind of pretty high, their physical defense is near impossible to get through. Right. I mean, even Crystal Sword Cecil with adamant armor, Zeus gauntlets, the whole shebang might pull a couple hundred. The saving grace though is they only have a couple hundred hit points.
Yeah, well, especially in that spot, I think they have like 5 hit points in that spot. So what do we get from our cannon room destruction right here? Let's see, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think Fred's got 10 key items.
He does. He's got 10 exactly. So at this point, and there's a sand ruby, so that's 11. So now it comes to the point is, and it doesn't look like he's going to. It looks like he's going to head straight for the moon at this point, or maybe a much quicker, much safer D machine grind. But he's going to need to level at this point. But he's going to drop off his magma key here real quick, and so if he goes for the giant, he's going to drop off. He's going to hit up to 4 objectives here real quick.
Yeah, it's going to be smoking in Coughlin's stream right now. Once he goes up into the giant, and really, it's just a race to Odin at this point. It's whoever finds that boss first is probably going to be the person who finishes this seed first. Bahamut has all of the experience in the world right now, has all the levels in the world right now. It's not going to take Bahamut a terribly great long time to defeat Zeromus here. I'm guessing that Fred's probably going to do a brief D-Machine grind. But again, he saw sirens for sale down there and might have different ideas.
What is... Oh, yeah, he's going to pick up Bacchus wines. Is what he's doing. It took me a second to realize what he was doing. It's like, Bacchus wines. Fred's looking to get drunk, y'all. Drunken master.
Yep. Fred's looking to get a little zerky. And with a Paladin Cecil with an Excalibur, that's going to do a significant portion of damage to Zeromus. And again, that's going to be a quick fight too, just so long as he doesn't get nuke trolled on Cecil. But even then, if he's level 44, 45, or even higher than that, has got somewhere in the vein of 2,500 hit points. A full powered nuke you can still recover from. Does about 2,400 damage maximum. You can still toss down a Cure 3, take a nerfed Big Bang, and be donezo.
True, and Fred Coughlin, and honestly, so is Bahamut. They're both good enough runners. They can take out Z at low 40s. As far as levels are concerned.
And Bahamut's doing the 4 Fiends fight, right?
And Fred picks up a crystal, but Fred picks up a crystal in sword form, so Cecil is going to be hurting people directly to the face.
Yeah.
He's making monster meatballs for dinner, y'all. I hope y'all brought the marinara sauce.
Yeah, that's the ace of spades right there. And it's going to be easy goings. I don't even know that Mr. Coughlin's going to need to do a whole lot of grinding, to be honest. All of these boss fights that he's been doing, he's probably going to do a little bit of math and go, maybe I need 1 or 2 or whatever. But you got sirens available, and those sirens will probably get him there in a hurry.
The problem is Fred's going down a rabbit hole at this point. Maybe not. There's 2 bosses at Baron, 1 in the Luca Cave, and we're still on the hunt for Odin. But the other 2 objectives, objective 2 and 3, they're in the same place in the Giant.
Yeah, the hunt for Odin is still, if I'm one of these runners, the hunt for Odin is probably going to take precedence, and it's going to be a long way to Tipperary to end up getting the Baron key right now. If you really think that you've got your opponent against the ropes, you could try the Baron key check and make a sort of off-kilter check. Or an even more off-kilter check would be the sealed cave check right there, because you got yourself a Luca key out of the deal.
Yeah, honestly, I expect both of these runners to, if Odin's in the sealed cave, it's going to be a last location.
It could be. But it looks like Mr. Coughlin's going to go up into the Giant and take care of objectives number 2 and 3. Doesn't know that he's got a mop waiting for him, but I'm pretty sure at this juncture he can do math and see that there's really only one other character that this could be.
Yeah, we're at this point the only characters we haven't seen to my knowledge are Porum, Rosa, Fu, and Edge.
Mm-hmm.
And that's right, Sid was at Sand Ruby. So yeah, Porum, Fu, Edge, and Rosa. So really all we're lacking is a quality healer, and Fu can fill that role quite easily.
Yeah, it's all the healing you ever really need. A couple of cure fires, especially if you're going pure Zerk strats, especially if you've got a Crystal Sword Cecil.
Oh yeah, that's just gonna lay out the damage like there is no tomorrow.
And Possum Orpheus has just pointed out something. It's like there's no D machine grind necessary because it's got 10 key items. Yeah, so the 1,000 experience from the CPU spot is, as it says, no joke.
Yeah, and isn't it more experience from the element spot? I want to say you get more experience from the element spot than you do the CPU spot, but I could be wrong.
I actually don't know the answer to that. But it's not insignificant, no matter what.
Looks like Fred is going for a grind of some kind, but it's definitely going to be a lot faster than Bahamut's was.
Well, it could be. Fred's got a lot of experience speedrunning vanilla FF4. No credit warp and no 64. So this will probably be a little bit better executed. Understands agility anchoring a ton, understands how to set up double life, maybe even triple life. This one, I don't think you're going to get a double life out of because the speed on your outside characters is just a little too high. You don't really have the even speed that you need to build up a nice even ATB curve to get your double life out there. But 1 kill, 1 dupe, that's going to do you solid right there. And over in Bahamut's stream, we got some sellout happening right now. And he's going for... What is he going for here?
Bahamut's in the Fey March. What is he going for?
Oh, there's an awful lot of selling. Oh, was hoping to find some cabins or something like that. Ended up having to take a nap. And here we see Mr. Coughlin doing a pretty classic setup. You're going to eat a fire every time, but you're only going to eat the one. It's a safe grind. Doesn't get the dupe that time because it's just a little too fast on that input from Cecil.
But he didn't eat fire, so free kill.
Yeah, it's not too shabby. We're gonna take a moment to cure 4 up and see what we can see. Bahamut goes into the bottom of the Fey March, sees Yang and Bahamut himself, and nopes out of it.
If I remember, that's a giant mistake.
Well, what was the chain to get to the magma key? It's that's gonna be the dwarf castle?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, it's
Magma's
Babel. That's
top of Babel. See, and thank you very much, Chad. This is why you're here. This is to remind us commentators of where stuff is.
All right, and Bahamut's going to turn in that pan. Get the 2 free items out of that as this D machine grind continues. And this is the moment that I show my lack of experience a lot by full healing between each of these. But Mr. Coughlin understands exactly how much damage is going to be done. Has it all balanced out and weighted. You see that fire goes off, has the character ready and waiting with the life potion for that dupe, and you know he's counting.
Yeah, it looks like he's about done with his grind because he's re-equipping Yang with some cat claws, and he's ready to. He's just waiting for the next week to murder himself a little searcher alert bot.
Yeah, as predicted, a very brief D machine grind here.
Brief but effective.
Well, it can be effective, absolutely. It'll get at least enough experience on Cecil and Yang and Kane to where they can actually handle what's coming up. And that 10 key items shows its value right there. 794,000 experience on that, which is just a little under twice what Bahamut X got out of his D machine grind. You can definitely see how valuable that 10 key item bump truly is in this.
Exactly.
Yeah, level 53 Cecil. And yeah, and now Fred is 100% ready for Zeromus. And Bahamut X is actually he's about Baron Castle.
Yeah, Fred's about 80% ready for Zeromus. He's still got to fight Odin.
Well, he's still got to fight Odin, yes. Ah, yes, and here come the Zerk strats. Now, we saw this in the very beginning. Mom Bomb in the Beigen spot.
Nuke,
this is going to be very,
and it's dead.
Well, it's going to turn into Stay Puffed Marshmallow Bomb. Maybe. Maybe it'll get the chance to do it. Maybe it won't.
Yeah, no,
nope,
it's
sure won't.
It's just gonna get nuked into oblivion, and then we're gonna go. Now the check is Odin vanilla, because that would be spicy.
A vanilla Odin would be interesting here. And Odin right here in this spot would be handy, but unfortunately, it's not Odin. It is a free boss in a relatively free spot. You only have like 3,500 hit points to chew through. It's an even 4K. Oh, it's an even 4K? Great. Whatever it is, it's low enough to where this is going to be city.
Yeah, it's, smackety smack, smackety smack, and we're done.
I did not know that they were susceptible to stone.
Neither did I, but apparently not.
Oh, well, Stone has a missed chance.
This is true.
And who's the character?
Edge.
See, now here's the debate. Do you take Edge?
Bahamut says no. But Bahamut says Edge on his way with all due speed.
Yeah, and I do not blame him for that. You've invested all this time and energy into a party that you have Zeromus ready. Why mess that up at all and accidentally stumble into go mode at a low-level Edge? You're just hurting your own chances right there. If you've got the party that you're comfortable with, you keep it no matter what comes your way.
Yeah, and especially when he's so mage heavy, switching out of mage for a melee damage dealer. I honestly agree. As much as I love my boy Edge, I agree with this play very much. And there's a free, even though there's a free Excal to throw right in Zeromus's ugly mug.
And Michael of Oz, thank you very much for that subscription to Free Enterprise. Appreciate the support. I see Bahamut X laying down a tent. Definitely going to go back and see if he can luck himself into a vanilla.
But he had to do the math. He had to check everything out first, make sure he was at full health. Because pretty much no matter what boss is there, unless it's a water hag, it's not free.
Yeah, it's not a very free spot. But then again, at these levels, I don't necessarily think that I would be particularly frightened of anything that could be down there.
The only thing I would be frightened of would be Wyvern, but we already know where Wyvern is, so that's about, that answers that question.
And what are we gonna find?
Vanilla Odin. Big brain play right there.
This just got really interesting. Fred has not made any motion towards doing Baron, but I also see a little bit of hesitance in Fred's play to go to the moon. Neither of these runners have actually wanted to go to the moon at all. So there is a high degree of likelihood that Fred's going to do this check next. It's an easy check and a free check once you get done with Baron itself, but you gotta get through the fight.
Well, Lit 3 takes care of that without thinking twice about it.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to be 4 of 5, and suddenly Bahamut X is very much in the lead, although it's gonna be close. Because after this Mylon fight and Fred's stream right here, it's going to be Dunzo, and it's going to be 4 out of 5 and 4 out of 5 for both of them.
Exactly. So it becomes a race to see if Fred goes to Baron first, or if Bahamut goes to lower Babel first. That's going to be the the deciding factor in this race, because both runners are Zeromus ready. It's just a matter of who goes to the required location first. And I think we have our... Oh, no, not quite. He's teasing it. Oh, he's fallen for the trap. Oh, no.
That's all right. It's definitely going for an outlier play right here. Did Bahamut save just outside of the cave?
I don't think so.
I really hope he did. Yeah, he saved. Okay, good. Because this is a quick check right here. Just so long as you save right outside, you can just reset and go if you don't see what you want.
True. Now, again, does Fred bring big brain play and go to Baron? You were going to the right place. Where are you going? Fred, you were that close. What are you doing, my man?
Fred's
no.
Fred's gonna kick himself later for this one, but This is interesting now. Side by side, our runners once again have converged in the same spot. We've got Bahamut right at the tail end of Sealed Cave, Fred right at the entrance of Sealed Cave. Each of them have 4 out of the 5 objectives. Each of them are at Zeromus ready level. This is a actual close race that did not seem close when it was in its 30th minute.
This race didn't even seem close at its 115th minute. So that shows you exactly how much everything that can change in 20 minutes.
And the problem with getting Rat Tail for Bahamut X is that you kind of have to take it because you don't know what's behind it.
Exactly, because Earth Crystal could be behind it, and Earth Crystal could have Magma Key. Thankfully for Fred Coughlin, once he sees that it's not once he sees the boss is not Odin, he's out. He's gone.
Yep.
Well, no, he could still do it. No, he could still end up doing it because Earth Crystal, two bosses there, one of which could be Odin for all he knows.
Yeah, this might actually be one that they end up both doing. Fred sees the rat tail and is thinking, is this a yes?
He's going to check the boss, and honestly, it's a coin flip on whether or not he does it.
It is.
And he big brain plays, and he nopes out.
Yeah, he nopes
Good
right
job,
out.
Fred.
He says, no, thank you. That's,
Now, does he debate himself again? Or, there you go, Freddy. There you go.
So, Mr. Coughlin's actually going to do the thing that's going to get him the crystal right here. The unfortunate part about what Bahamut X is going to find out here is that unless this is a dead end, it's a rabbit hole. So what Bahamut has to be hoping for is a zero-sum game right here. Has to be hoping for, I don't know, a crystal mail or something like that. Has to be hoping for just a top-tier PC. Hey, maybe an Avenger. Maybe an Avenger would be cool. But something that does not necessitate going further into this seed and getting down a rabbit hole. And given what is left, I don't know that that's going to happen.
Really, the only thing left to send him down a rabbit hole is gonna be the Earth Crystal. That's the only thing that I can see that's not gonna that can send him down a rabbit hole.
It would be a really big outlier to have literally all of the lunar bosses not have progression. If the Earth Crystal is behind Rat Tail, that means that all of the lunar bosses have 0 progression, which would be fascinating to me, as so many people wanted to make the moon play for so long.
Yeah, and then it turns out the moon was just a big giant trap. I mean, the trap is. I mean, it wasn't just a trap; it was a tarp.
So Bahamut X is doing a little looting in Troya. Gonna look at and find sirens and kind of curse under his breath, probably.
I don't know if that was me, I would not be cursing under my breath. I would be cursing out loud. But then again, I tend to. Ooh,
Fred is actually skipping the king's chamber and going right to the Odin spot. Oh,
and there's a smile of happiness on Fred's face.
Here it comes. This is going to be one fight away from go mode, and Fred is in the driver's seat. I'm curious to know what Bahamut is going to find in this rat tail, and I pray for his sake that it is something inconsequential.
Not inconsequential, but not a rabbit hole either.
Not progression, and that's the important part, which means that Bahamut still might have a ghost of a chance. It's looking pretty solid for Mr. Coughlin, as he's just wrapped up the Odin fight, and it looks like that 5th objective is complete. And here it comes. Bada bing, bada boom, ding-a-ling-a-ling. There's your crystal.
And it's not in sword form either.
Yeah, and here's the thing, is that Mr. Coughlin has the pass as well. So...
No, Bahamut, no. As much as we love music, no. Oh, no.
Well,
that seals it. That seals it.
I think it was sealed before this play, but that definitely seals it now. This is an unfortunate choice. And realistically speaking, with all of the options available, how can you possibly think that somebody is right there ready to go? Like, you still have the entirety of the moon to check. You still have both spots in the Tower of Babel and the underground to check. I don't even think Bahamut did the dwarf cave or the dwarf castle. I don't think he did that either. So
no, I don't think so either.
King's ransom of checks for Bahamut to do. So this is a shot in the dark right now.
And Fred's playing it double safe, and he's backtracking out of Baron Castle rather than, seeing, okay, what if the boss is Kenazo or something just absolutely horrible. I don't think he knows where Wyvern is. So
no, he definitely got mega nuked.
But he could have forgotten.
It's true. But this is it right
worried
here.
About that.
And he's going to lay down a save and just charge right in. And that leads us to everyone's favorite question. Christopher, whose butt are we going to kick today?
I honestly think that the chat wants Ultrosmiths.
Ultrosmiths? All right, a classic. I would like to make a petition right now that we fight a... I would like to petition that we fight a lava lamp.
Lava lamps are fun.
Yes.
Lava lamps are fun.
I would like a random floating lava lamp as our Z sprite. That's my vote right there.
Hyper Strike calling for animals. He wants to kill the animals.
Rabbit Holmus. I like Rabbit Holmus. There's shake number 1.
Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake.
And this is going to be a really fight.
Oh,
we've got White Lance on Kane. We've got a Crystal Sword on Cecil. Just those two alone are going to take care of business.
Yeah, and Yang is over leveled by a factor of like 50.
I believe that's max hit points that Yang can get at too. And who is that? What is that?
You've never played I Want to Be the Guy?
I've never played I Want to Be the Guy. No.
I'm pretty sure that's where this is from. So, and unfortunately, just like in the game, the guy is gonna die, and he's gonna die very fast.
Yeah, it's gonna be a straight up melting right here. That counter nuke goes off onto Fusoya. That could be problematic, actually, because that's the only source of healing that Mr. Coughlin has. But that's why we have cures. It doesn't look like he's too concerned about it, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, realistically, he don't need it. He don't need healing. Why? You know what makes a really good heal? Punching somebody in the face.
Well, yeah, it depends. It depends on what kind of damage output you got. Probably with this party, you're only going to see that one big bang, especially because Cecil is dealing 7,000 damage a shot right now with that Berserk Crystal stuff. So yeah, I guess that maybe you don't need healing after all. You just need winning. the best defense is a good offense stick.
You tend not to get in fights when you carry a bigger stick with a bigger nail.
Yeah, and here we've far surpassed the amount of damage necessary to get into phase 2, so we might... I mean, I have definitely had it before where just swinging swords, I have skipped phase 2. But...
I've had it with just swinging swords. Z gets off Big Bang and then just dies. He just sits there and just dies. It's rather comical.
It can be very, very satisfying. Fred's wrapping it up right here.
Yeah, we should be seeing the crackle bang here any second now.
There's a shake. That's a shake of a big bang incoming. But that's a shake, rattle, and roll of a Zeromus falling.
Yep, and fcoughlin finishes in first place with an official SRL time of 1:47.21. Get those GGs in chat for Mr. fcoughlin.
1 hour, 47 minutes, and 21 seconds. And he takes Zeromus down in one of my favorite ways, Berserk Crystal Sword Cecil.
The only way it gets any better if he's wearing admin armor while he's at it. But sub 2.
Sub 2 with that scene is good just because it took him on a very roundabout course, and also had a required Giant of Babel. However, neither of them went to the moon except to nab the character right at the top of the seed. That was the only kiss of the moon that we saw this entire seed. And so sub 2 definitely seems in the ballpark.
Yeah, no, to me for this flag set, sub 2 it was either a jet seed or just played absolutely expertly, and I think that's what we saw here today is Fred just expertly rolling over this seed with very little problem.
And while we watch Bahamut jump in, we are met in chat by fcoughlin. Congratulations on your victory, Mr. Coughlin.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice.
Yes, again, GG's. So we have questions. Please provide answers.
I'll try.
What?
Can't guarantee, but I'll try.
So, Magnus Cave. After you get the item, after the kill, was that you stomping around swearing that you wasted all that time, or were you just dancing to the music?
Music. If anyone who watches my stream, once I'm done with the crystal, I at least give the first 4-8 measures, depending on the song, of the song again, and let everyone see exactly where it came from, especially in that one, because I didn't recognize it at first. So definitely have to let people see it.
I really have to say I appreciated that even in a competitive format, you took 15 to 20 seconds to just dance to the music. I thought that was hilarious.
If I lose by 15 or 20 seconds, I didn't deserve to win in the first place in my mind. So I'd rather have a little bit of fun with it, and if I lose, well, I'll lose.
Fun playing video games? Crazy talk.
Who has fun playing video games anymore? Seriously.
That's great. So you get into the upper Babel area, and you just blast through the underground. Tell me a little bit about what it was routing-wise that you were thinking about as you were making your way through the underground before you headed back up.
Well, I had the pan, so first thing was at least knock off the whacking yang on the head there. Of course, I'm now completely blanking on everything in terms of what I saw, but went down to hit land of some monsters, and oh look, 2 auto bosses if Cecil can survive. Stress on if Cecil can survive.
Right, he took a couple of nosedives.
Yeah, minor details. It was just typically, okay, you had a 1 in 3 chance or 1 in 2 chance of Cecil not getting punched up, Cecil's dead. Yep. Restart, do it again, same thing. So, I just wanted to try to get things done there while I was down there so I wouldn't have to come back up. And then after that, I wanted to get to Dwarf Castle because, again, we still needed a Fusoya, and there were a number of places he could be, so I basically cleared out entire underworld and just was, again, working under the assumption, well, I knew Ashura was at the top of the tower. Gotta check there and see if she's holding anything. I think at that point, I don't remember exactly what I had, but I knew I had a rune axe. I had Cecil with a decent weapon, and I said, this is probably about as good of a shot as I have of clearing that, so let's just knock it out. And then the annoying gauntlet of doom there.
Yeah,
then,
that gauntlet. Yeah, that gauntlet was just cruel.
Oh yeah, but I was just trying also to get up to 10 key items because I knew I have to do giant. Basically, this was almost a guaranteed. Looking at the objectives when I first came in, I was like, okay, this is pretty much going to be a 100% seed. You have to clear the hook, you have to do the magma key, you have to do the giant. It's like, okay, I'm gonna have to do all that. So my goal was to get up to 10, so that way if I went up to the moon, I could, not the moon, to the giant, I could do that as my grind, power everything up, knock that out, and then hope for the rest.
And in fact, the moon was the only thing that we didn't really. We saw the naming way shop. We saw the character in the Crystal Castle, and we saw Bumpkiss Else. Did you ever, throughout the course of this seed, get a wild hair up your nose and go, I'm thinking about diving lunar subterrane? Was there ever a thought in your mind to do that?
I mean, at some point, there were definite options on the table. I mean, there's a lot of concentration of bosses up there, but I just figured I'd check the easy spots first, see if I would get any. Again, Earth Crystal was the one on my mind that, okay, that's there, but I had pass, so running up to the moon didn't necessarily gain me an advantage one way or the other. It was basically wherever I could find them, and quick checks on the Earth before I go up, things that, any point here, the branching could have happened. I liken this game a lot to having Ice Rod Hunt or hunts for the final piece because, a lot of times whatever you're trying to complete is a terminal end of a chain. And so, especially when you're hunting for other bosses, you want to find where it is and take it out, and basically you got to go on density of checks. And so, I had Baron Key. If I had gone a different direction and Bahamut had hit Baron Key, and hit that, and Odin was there, well, then if I don't pick that early, I'm going to potentially run into trouble. So I tried to take a guess. I didn't know if Bahamut was going to the moon. I said, let's, it's probably better because regardless of which direction I took, if Bahamut had taken the other one, then I potentially could lose a lot of time if it was there, and just hope that maybe Bahamut would take the same checks, maybe in a slightly different order, and I could go from there.
Let's fast forward to just before the end. You're in Baron Castle. You do the Baigen fight, and then instead of going to the king's chambers, you go right over to the Odin spot. Wow, that was a pretty keen little play there. Talk to me a little bit about your reasoning behind that.
Lovely cutscenes that I wanted to try to avoid if it turned out that Odin was in his vanilla slot. I mean, there was a little voice in my head saying, hey, there's absolutely... I've seen basically nothing vanilla in this seed. Why not? Wouldn't he be there? But with the lovely, annoying cutscenes, it's, I think, faster to kill Odin if it's Odin there, then walk out, than to basically sit through the entire Kanazo cutscene, flip off the costume, surprise, it's me, kill you, okay, fine, oh look, here comes a friend, let's dance a bit, let's watch the walls close in on us, now let's go walk down, check out a pod. Tends to take a bit of time, and so I said if it's that one, especially where, again, if it was Baron Castle, Bahamut was probably already there at some point recently, and I gotta try to clear that thing out as fast as I can to know whether I'm going to the moon or whether I'm just hanging out in the basement there.
Well, that all makes sense. Very nice insight. Christopher, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do have just one more. Backtracking way back to the beginning of the seed, you were doing something prior to going up Mount Hobbs to grab Tella. We were speculating, were you trying to, encounter manipulation for a D-machine grind? Or were you just, having some problems getting set up to take out Golbez?
Wanted to take out Golbez, had the guy stoned, and kept trying to decide who I needed dead. Basically, I was kept changing my mind on who I wanted dead because I wanted Kane alive at that point. Kane had the best weaponry pretty much possible at that point. Palom was stoned, thankfully, from the Valvolus fight, so I didn't have to worry about him. I killed Tella, or not Tella, Tella was on the mountain. I killed Edward. Oh no, yeah, what happened was I killed someone else, Edward kept running, so then I was like, okay, let me go heal him and do that, and then I was like, wait, no, because I'm going to replace Edward, so I'm going to then still have 3 people alive, let me just kill Cecil, and then get it from there. So it's basically just a small mental hiccup on who I wanted dead entering that fight.
That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, when you kind of explain it like that, like I said, there was some speculation as to is this, setup manipulation for an early D machine grind, some kind of, encounter manipulation that I'm certainly not aware of, or is it something else entirely? And so, yeah, thank you for explaining that.
Oh, no problem.
Before we go, any last thoughts, Mr. Coughlin?
I mean, again, thank you to everyone here for putting this all together. I mean, again, everyone out there, please make sure you follow the runners. Bahamut, definitely follow the commentary team here because, I'm going to go back and watch this because, this commentary team is fantastically awesome. The tracker behind the scenes, Scala doing the restream, everyone is great at putting this all together. So absolutely make sure you give everyone a follow out there. And looking forward to 2 more weeks of action here before we get into the bracket phase.
Me too. Thank you very much, Fred.
Take care.
Thank you, Fred. Alrighty. Well, now at this point in time, Bahamut is on his way to making the guy die. So again, he's going with a slightly different strategy. Doesn't have Cecil, doesn't have the Crystal Sword. So he's going for reflect strats. So this should be pretty quick, all things considered.
I'm interested to know if this is going to be pure reflect strats or if this is going to be hybrid strats coming in. We've got your first nerfed Big Bang. It looks hybrid to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say with Kane and Yang getting drunk, we're definitely going with hybrid strats. Although Palom's just a little bit low to nuke face. So he's going to be depending on Fu and Rydia for the nukes.
Chad is asking for unicorn strats. Looks like this is going to be largely a berserk based damage team. Again, you have your heavy hitters in the row and Kane and Yang, and you're doing some damage with those reflected nukes. It's a good sized bump, but it's not necessarily going to be the biggest source of your damage, especially because you've got an Ice 3 in the back, which, by the way, level 3 elemental spells are not to be sneezed at in the final fight. They just take a long time to cast.
Yeah, that's really the only problem is they take so much more time to set up and to cast. Big bang, full power, big bang.
Big bang. And that could spell demise for Palom. Rydia takes a nosedive. Everyone else is still up on their feet, and that Cure 4 comes out pretty fast, so it's not so bad.
Yeah, that Cure 4 was just perfectly timed. And I expect nothing less out of Bahamut. Rydia just happened to be low from the previous nuke and the previous Big Bang, and that he had never bothered to heal up. So I'm honestly kind of surprised that he hasn't gone full reflect, casting nukes with Fusoya.
Well, if you have nuke on Palom, then yeah, I could see a full reflect strats because you have 3 sources of nuke at that point. But because Palom didn't quite get to nuke levels, that doesn't make the viability particularly flavorful. And here we see a nerf attempt using the crystal to target Zeromus, which is one of those outliers. And a little early on that nerf. a little early. I don't think that's going to do it. Probably going to be another full power.
Nope, that one was nerfed.
Holy crap.
It rolled high, but it was nerfed.
Wow. So, Brash Volksdragon, to explain what's going on with that nerf, is if you target Zeromus with a magic-based source of damage in a specific window after the shake before the Big Bang, what happens is that he counters with Nuke. And when he does that, it temporarily reduces his magic power. I forget how much to how much, but it essentially cuts the power of the Big Bang in a little under half.
Yeah, it basically, Big Bangs are generally going to do about 2,000 hit points worth of damage, and it cuts it down to under 1,000 for most characters. So it when you don't have the damage at the speed you need to just roar through it like fcoughlin did, you do have to be careful a little bit, and you do have to nerf those Big Bangs.
Yeah, it's actually a very, very piece of running this game at all, is understanding the mechanics of the and understanding the window in which you need to cast something on Zeromus, whether it's the use of an item, which technically counts as a magic-based source of damage. I've seen somebody throw a Cure 1 on it before and have it nerfed from that. But one of the runner's favorites is a Silk Web, because not only does it nerf the Big Bang, but it also reduces his speed by a count of 2 castings of slow. And that doesn't go away.
True. If you really want to see that entire mechanic abused, I forget who it was, but solo Edward strats.
Mm-hmm. And that's bye-bye time for Zeromus, and Bahamut X deals the killing blow at 2 hours and 3 minutes and 23 seconds. And get your GGs in chat.
Yep, get those GGs in chat for Bahamut X. He put up a real good show, but fcoughlin, he just murdered this seed with all expediency.
And yeah, a seed that took them on a wild runaround. A seed that didn't see the moon, but saw a great deal of trials and tribulations. An Edward start that quickly unfolded into a Kane, and then a Crystal Sword Cecil. Went from teeny tiny to hefty, only in the matter of a short period of time. And as always, 100% fun to watch. Bahamut X, congratulations on your finish, and thank you very much for that run. Talk to me a little bit about what you were feeling about halfway through this run. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
Sorry, I forgot I had to push to talk still.
Wonderful.
Okay, so halfway through, Blizzard's probably was about after my giant grind, because that took longer than I thought it would. But I thought, hey, I have to do that early, then just wipe everything else, which was true. I wiped everything else after that.
Yeah, you sure did.
Fortunately.
So you do the D machine grind, and then you get the bonus bump and experience from the 4 Fiends and CPU spots. You finally get that done. You see Fusoya at the end of it, and that's a 1-2 punch of objectives. What are you feeling at that time? What's your next move?
I kind of thought, hey, all right, that took a long time, but I'm not sure if Coughlin would have done that right away. But it's like, all right, I got my party set. I'm not gonna get hard at any more chests. I'm just gonna just start plowing through that.
Yeah, one thing that I noticed, and we noticed, was that you kind of floundered there for a little bit before, before you went and did the D machine grind, and you're really indecisive. Tell us about that. What was going through your head? Were you just trying to weigh your options, trying to figure out what to do, or what was going on there?
That was before I did the D machine grind.
It might have been after. I don't remember exactly.
Okay,
it was after.
I'm going to beeline for the D machine. I just know that I just took longer up there than I was wanting to, because you probably saw I did the place where I thought there'd be one. It wasn't there, and then I got one, then I died, and so yeah. But I suppose if there's any decision, it probably was, I want to say, once I got to 4 out of 5 objectives, because after that, I think it was wide open from there. So it's just a matter of what do we go for first. I will say, I wish I went to Tower earlier, or Lower Babel earlier.
Yeah. So you went immediately to the moon, looked at a shop, grabbed a character, and then you put the moon so far into your rear view mirror for the entirety of the seed. Did it ever cross your mind to make the moon play in this seed? Did that ever cross your mind?
Not really. I try not to metagame too much, but I thought, well, I like to, because some people like to go to moon early, especially if they got the levels. I'm like, I'll clear everything down below and then go to moon. But I will say that the reason why I didn't go to Lower Babel early, I thought, well, that would be the right way, is to go to Tower once I was underground. But I thought, well, let's try for some luck. That's why I went to did the Luca Key and Twin Harp and stuff like that. But fortunately, that didn't pan out. Going
for the outlier plays. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, playing against someone, a Fred Coughlin's caliber, you got to take them gambles and hope they pay off for you. Unfortunately, they just didn't this time.
Yeah, I will say, except for my D machine grind, I feel pretty satisfied with my performance. I think I couldn't have done too much better than I did.
Absolutely. This is one of those seeds that is deceptively nasty, just because it wove you through your own paths like 2 or 3 times, took you on some of the most circuitous routes for a non-lunar subterranean seed that I have ever seen. And to persevere through that like you both did is really exceptional, and it just shows the caliber of runners that are out here in the Gauntlet itself. Bahamut, any last words?
Just say GG again to fcoughlin, and thanks for being commentators, and thanks to Scala and Maggie for doing the restream and tracking, because I'm looking forward to watching the VOD.
Absolutely. Well, I will go ahead and get my stuff out of the way, and I will give you the last word, Muppets. So I am Christopher Walker, and please make sure to give our runners a follow. And again, give our Restream team a follow. Scala Kitty, Maggie the Cat, myself, and Muppets in Space over here. I've had an absolute blast calling this seed, and I hope you guys have had an absolute blast of a time watching it.
Yeah, thank you all for coming out and getting ringside seats to the Gauntlet. We're going to head on over to Penguinator's stream now, one of the fabulous free enterprise runners and workshop helpers. So make sure to give him your love. I'm sorry? Thank you. I've just been informed that he's racing right now, so he'll be emote only. But definitely give him your love emotes and all free enterprise emotes that you can muster. Thank you very much again, everyone, and have a great night.
Work.